Hello guys, Dan here, welcome back to the channel. In today's short video I will show you how to paint hard cases in this desert pattern using contrast paints, and later we will use just the regular paints to do the highlights on this model. So without further ado, sit back, relax and enjoy the rest of the video. We'll start with priming the model with the Wraithbone spray, because most of the contrast paints will be bright, so we want a bright undercoat. And then for the first color, I will use the contrast paint Wyldwood, and I will use this just to paint the wooden part of his bow. I will apply this color straight from the pot, and I will apply it in one very thick coat. Next paint that we're going to use will be a Militarum green, and this will be used for his vest. Just try to be neat as much as possible when you're applying these contrast paints, so you don't overlap the areas that still need to be painted. If you at any point make any mistakes, just pick up the Wraithbone paint and just repaint the area that you overlapped. For the latter parts, I will use Gore-Grunta Fur, and same as before, I will apply it in one very thick coat. So the thing is, whenever you work with the contrast paints, you have to shake the bottles really well before the usage. And the other thing is, don't try to overlap the area that you already painted. Just let the paint settle down and apply it in one thick stroke. So try not to go in a couple of strokes over the same area, especially if it gets dried, then you won't get that nice effect. For his skin, we will use Guilliman Flash, and same as before, this will be applied in one very thick coat, but this color is like slightly brighter, so don't be scared that it doesn't cover that well, but that is actually the effect that we want to achieve, because we want his skin to be a little paler. For the metallic parts, we will use Black Templar, and I will apply this in one very thick coat. So I will soak my brush really good in the paint, and then I will just try to paint all the metallic parts. I'll apply this in one thick coat, but in case that you want these areas to be darker and more black, then apply the second thick coat on top of it after the first one gets dried properly. And the last contrast paint that we are going to use today will be Aggaros Dunes. So I will use this one to paint his hat, shirt and the pants. As you can see, when this color gets dried, the model looks really decent. So if you don't have time and you want to paint your army very quickly, you can stop at this point and start using the model for your games. Just put a protective coat on top of it. But in case that you wanted to just lift it up a notch to bring it to the next level to look a little better, then follow up the next steps, because I will start now highlighting it. So I will start highlighting the black metal parts. I will use a pure white, I opt to use Vallejo paints because I prefer them much more than GW because of the packing and they have a much better coverage and formulas. But in case if you have GW, just take any white that you want. And I will go around and I will start edge highlighting all the sharp edges of the metal parts that you have, like on the gloves, on the gauntlet, a little on the bow as well, and arrows on his back. For the bow, you can use the old wood and just do the little edge highlight, and you can dab a little scratches all around the wood. You can just use the tip of your brush and do a little like a stippling around. It will create a really nice effect. For the leather, to create a worn leather effect, I will use a sunny skin tone and I will just go around and do a little stippling and little lines and scratches all around the edges of the leather parts on this model. To highlight the shirt and the hat, I used the dark sand, and I applied this color in two very thin coats because when I went with the first pass I was not happy how the coverage was, and then I went the second pass and everything looked much better. So we are going to highlight all the ridges, all the edges, all the folds on the shirts and the pants, but don't go inside the recesses. You want to leave everything in the shadows. And for the final highlight, I will use Ivory, and this will be done only on the most raised edges, like the most exposed edges. So you want this as a little highlight. You don't want to apply too much of it. So you put it like on the some folds of his clothing, on the edges of his hat, on the pants where the folds are. To finish off his skin, I will use a basic skin tone and I will just highlight the most exposed areas of the skin and the raised areas on the face, like nose, cheeks, forehead. Then try not to go into the recesses where the contrast paint already created the shadows and the contours of the face, so we want to leave those places intact. And then I will very lightly use the flat earth and paint his beard and the hair. So this is completely optional and up to you, depends on which color you want to paint his hair. And the last thing that we need to do is to paint his vest. First thing, I will use a golden olive, and I will just go around the flat areas just to clear any pooling that was created and any stains that was created actually from the contrast paints which didn't go all the way properly into the recesses. So just do the light cleaning with this paint, and after this we will proceed with the final highlight. And to create the highlight, I will mix golden olive with sunny skin tone, like 60-40 mix. And I will use this just to do a little edge highlights. I will do little stippling just to create scratches on his vest. Whenever it's possible, just use the tip of your brush and highlight the folds, the most raised areas, the edges, but leave the recesses. And that will bring us to the end of this video. Guys, I hope this video helped you and gave you some ideas and guidelines how to paint your Ariadna models. If so, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future content. And if you want any other model to be painted, or you have any suggestions, please leave a comment in the section down below and I'll be more than happy to do it. This is all for now, guys. Stay safe, take care, and see you soon. Bye bye.